everybody. Welcome to the Lifetime Training Podcast. I'm Jason Stella, your host, and I've got Miss Christine Hardy today. And this one is going to be all about how you can drink the wine that you want. Well, not the one that you want, but the wine, Smart Vine, and not give up on all of your, goals and this amazing product. I'm so happy to bring and introduce Christine Hardy, who's a certified a nutrition educator, master's degree in nutrition, a member of the Holistic Pediatrics Association, nationwide Holistic Moms Network, and the founder of Smart Vine. Welcome to the show, Christine.
Awesome, Jason. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to dive into this because I used to be a mean nutritionist, but I'm not anymore because I said yes to wine. So people can't change.
Yeah. And it's so great to see, everything that you've done. Obviously we work together. We're not obviously, the audience doesn't know that, but we worked together for a short time, a few years back, and how you've been able to take this thing and grow and be that entrepreneur that I know that you are has been fantastic. I think a great place to start, Christine, really is, let's get people an understanding of what's in normal wine, versus what is in your wine and how that whole thing came about. How did you start this thing?
Yeah, well, a really quick backstory is that I had a hardcore, Olympic gymnast background. And so my no pain, no gain approach from the 80s and 90s carried into my nutrition practice. And the biggest complaint among women was, okay, your diet's great or your cleanse is great, but I have to have a life. I've got to add in the wine. How do I do that? So over time, I created this day after remedy that was giving great results. It was taking away the headache, the hangover, the bloat, all that stuff. And I thought, well, this is great, but they're still drinking crappy wine. And you can't really inject a Twinkie with vitamin C and call it good, right? You still got a crappy base there that your body's still trying to work with. So eventually I said, okay, I got to create a wine. I don't know how or why. I didn't even drink wine. It's been in my family forever. My grandfather actually worked for Gallo until the day he died. So wine has really been a huge part of our family, like I said. But from my Olympic gymnast background, it was, how you can't have alcohol, you can't have anything, right? You're training. And I got the epiphany that has to change. It just absolutely has to change. So I went to work and figuring out how the wine industry worked and how to get my day after remedy into the wine.
Oh, wow.
Which was an experiment in my over and over. Yeah. So that's the beginning.
Well, and obviously it doesn't, it obviously helps that you live in the Bay Area and you're about 40 minutes from Napa as well, where at least you can see what is happening and then, be able to take it from there as well. So again, moving forward then, and, one of the questions that I saw that you had up is, why do I have to give up wine in order to lose weight? And obviously here's a solution. So continue on.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I found in the wine industry is basically what you find in the processed food industry. It blew my mind. I could not believe that they did not have to disclose what was in the wine on the label. It completely shocked me. And that wine was just grapes. So I thought, oh, this is going to be easy. I'll find some organic vineyards, I'll find an awesome winemaker. They'll put my herbal concoction in there, and we're good to go. No, not at all. We spent almost $1 million going up and down the California coast, testing the vines, and they were full of glyphosate. And that's a cancer-causing ingredient in a Roundup that I have been trying to get out of my clients' diet for so long that causes leaky gut, which then, as you know, will cause obesity, diabetes.
Inflammation, yep.
Inflammation, why can't I lose this weight? Well, your gut's inflamed, and that's really the root of it. And that was quite an incredible journey. And then I dug deeper and said, okay, well, what's happening in the cellar? And that's when I really freaked out because, again, people think wine is just grapes, and it's not. Wine is not vegan. They use animal byproducts, fish bladders and cow parts and gelatin and casein and egg to filter wine. So what was a revelation to me is that a lot of my clients had reactions to wine. I thought, well, yeah, it's full of chemicals and sugar, Yeah. Speaking of, one bottle of wine can contain 130 grams of sugar.
Wow.
30 grams of sugar in one bottle of wine, and Smart Wine only contains 1.
1 gram.
Big.
Wow.
It's a big difference. But the thing is that what I was going to go to is that people could be reacting, like if they have an egg allergy, if they have, even a gluten allergy, that's what they're reacting to in the wine on top of the sugar and the other chemicals into there. So,
and it tastes amazing. So thanks for sending
yeah.
out. Yeah, it tastes amazing.
Yeah, the industry's done some crazy things. So that's really what's causing the weight, is that number one, all the sugar. So going back to that piece, is all the sugar in there, as we know, causes inflammation, obesity, you name it, sugar's bad news. And then number two is the chemicals. There's up to 72 chemicals per bottle of wine, 72 chemicals per bottle of wine that are allowed, that are actually recommended into your wine. So chemicals, from a nutritional standpoint, they create fat on the body. How, as Jason knows, is that when you have toxicity in your body, you create fat cells to protect the organs. So every time you ingest a chemical, you have these little fat cells that start popping up. That's why when you cleanse, all those fat cells open and all the crap drains out. And you're 20 pounds lighter because you're releasing all of those chemicals and stuff. So if you remove the chemicals and remove the sugar, that's just the starting point, but that can help you not gain the weight and actually maintain your goals.
Got it. Well, one of the things you threw in there, and obviously I don't know if you can disclose it or not, but I would love to talk about it, is you said you created a kind of day after concoction that you've put into the wine. And can you explain how that works? Like, again, what that is, or more so, how does that work, within the wine to help
that's
you?
A great question. So first of all, there's a lot of alcohol licensing, and we're doing something that has never been done before. We're basically old tradition with a modern twist. I say that because herbs have been put into wine for thousands of years for nutritional benefit. We've just turned wine into like the beverage industry of high sugar, like a bad Gatorade or something.
Yeah.
For you. It's not meant to be that way. It's actually meant to be healthy for you. That's how it was made originally.
Got it.
So they have a lot of rules as to what could go into it. So it's interesting how I had my concoction a little bit different and had to change a couple things that they would recognize and be able to legally have me use. But we have organic turmeric in there, and we know the powerful properties of turmeric for the liver, but also a phenomenal antioxidant. We have organic muscadine grape skin. Now, muscadine grape skin is the highest in resveratrol, and you know how healthy that is for our brain and our heart. You would have to drink 1,000 gallons or 30 bottles of wine in one sitting to get the amount of resveratrol your doctor put in one glass of wine. That's because there's nothing in there.
Then you're gonna have to go to a doctor for something else.
Right. So the muscadine grape skin actually bumps up our resveratrol content 30% per our lab tests.
Oh, wow.
An increase. So when you drink a glass of our wine, you're getting actually the therapeutic benefit of resveratrol. No gimmick there. The other cool thing very quickly about that is it's high in allergic acid, which basically eats fat cells like Pac-Man.
Oh, wow.
It's phenomenal. And then you have organic chicory root. Now, when you drink alcohol, you deplete your good bacteria in your gut, any alcohol. Well, we're here to save the day. Chicory root is biotic, so it feeds all the good guys and you get that bacteria back, which takes away the bloating.
Got it.
Good bacteria takes away the bloating. We have organic lemon peel, and that's, of course, helpful for protecting the liver and helping with fat as well. But as far as the day after, the cool thing is that usually when people drink red wine, they get the histamine reaction and they get the headaches, the stuffy nose, the swelling, just don't feel good. And all four of those products you could actually take on their own as a therapeutic antihistamine. So you're essentially taking an Allegra when you drink our wine.
Oh, wow.
Not going to be getting the histamine reaction from the red wine as you normally would by taking by having that concoction in there, and then all the other benefits that help to actually enhance your health when you drink it.
Got it. So, I've got to go, we're kind of going back in time, and I love starting the episode like that. Is like, I don't remember you talking about this, about 4 or 5 years ago or whatever it was when we were working together. Like, how did you, like, where did it come from? I mean, obviously we know through things that you've been seeing, but
Mhm.
what were the steps actually that you kind of said, okay, I'm going to go here and then here. And then how did you end up finding, I believe it's in Santa Barbara, that is
Mhm.
the winery that you're using.
Well, there's a scientific part and there's a woo-woo part.
Oh, what?
Give you both. Is that cool?
Yeah, absolutely.
What is scientific? Okay,
Yeah.
because I kind of tread on both sides. So the scientific part is that, like I was saying, for over 20 years as a nutritionist, I was just plain out mean and said no wine. Now you know why. So I knew with the day after remedy that it was coming, right? I was going to have to eventually, at some point when I was ready or timing, I was going to have to go to the next step, which is to create the whole product. So it's coming. But the woo-woo part is that I see a cranial sacral therapist. So good for you.
Yes.
For recovery. She keeps me sane.
Yeah.
And when I turned 37, just a couple of days after I turned 37, I had a session with her. And I kid you not, she did something different. And I said, what did you do? She goes, I moved your brain. And I said, what the hell does it mean? Right. She said, well, it was stuck again. What does that mean? She said, well, you're so stressed that your creative juices have basically been cut off. So with their, manipulate
Wow.
the school, they're able to basically get the blood flow and basically unlock your creative whatever.
Beautiful.
But the interesting thing is that I got the download to create this wine, and it was clear as if someone was standing in front of my face and telling me exactly what to do. And it freaked me out because my grandfather dropped dead at 37 working for Gallo.
Oh, wow.
He wasn't able to fulfill this. So just a couple days after I turned 37, I get this down.
When you were 37, he didn't pass away.
Yeah. And he died at 37.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. So
Oh
I get the download when I turned 37, a couple days after. And the eerie part again is that he died at 37.
Wow.
For Gallo wanting to fulfill this destiny of making this, making a healthy wine and all these things. So here I am getting this download to continue this legacy, which I like, really, I'm a gymnast.
There's
this whole thing, it's not good for you.
Yeah.
And then it was clear as day. So then I just went to work in my kitchen, like I told you. And then I actually went to a speaker conference in Santa Barbara and I met a female winemaker. And she so happened to be the wife of the most famous award-winning winemaker in Santa Barbara, Steve Clifton. And they owned this winery together and they were all over it. So excited. They took my product on and it's just been phenomenal. We still work together.
Oh, I don't believe there's
He helped me navigate like how to get a wine bottle, how to get the label,
yeah,
the alcohol licensing, so the two minds married together was a blessing. Like literally 6 months later, she appeared and
that's awesome. And there's no such thing as coincidence. I'm a firm believer in that. And some of the things that have happened, just, you can say ironically, but that is an awesome story. So
it's been really cool. It's been kind of scary because I'm still doing it.
Got it.
Cool.
Got it. And so now you've taken it. How long has it been out?
Oh, it's been out for, I launched it on my daughter's due date because I'm not easy. And
so you launched the business.
Like to have a child.
Let's back this up. So you launched your business while pregnant.
Yeah. So it was my due date and we launched the website and thank God she was 10 days late. It was like, I had it,
Wow.
Being a first time mom and launching a business, even though I had one for 20 years, I thought, I can do this. Mm-hmm. Anyways.
That's fantastic.
I launched this business. She just turned 2 in November. And just quickly going back to what you're saying, how I found the vineyard. Mrs. Clifton was really helpful with that because it really tied into Santa Barbara. And like I was saying, we tested, she goes, try this vineyard, try this vineyard, try this vineyard. And even all of the organic vineyards turned up higher than normal levels of glyphosate. You just couldn't get around it. And so the vineyards that we finally found had never used it. They're tucked away. They're not getting oversprayed. You mentioned being close to Napa. Well, all those vines kiss each other. right? They look beautiful on the hills, but if you got an organic one over here and non-organic down here, or versa, it's in the air, it's in the water. So unfortunately, we even tested European wine, and glyphosate is in European wine because unfortunately it got over there. And they're fighting that right now.
So how in Santa Barbara, where you're at, why is that different?
Well, as far as how the vines are laid out.
Yeah. And how
Actually the same, but
you're able
there's
to
certain
get, and how you're able to get glyphosate free, grapes in wine and have less chemicals or no chemicals.
Yeah, so you have to really get on the soil, and you have to talk to the winemaker, and you have to talk to those that are picking the grapes. I don't speak Spanish, but
Yeah.
I was able to get translation. And crazy enough, the soil feels different. It looks different. There are certain vineyards where they use a lot of chemicals that take all the weeds up. So it's a very clean vineyard, like, oh, they're killing everything off. That's not good. They're using a lot of Roundup here.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of conversations, like getting in their company, in their face, and saying, are you of integrity? And what testing have you done? And even this winemaker that I'm working with now, he never thought to test for glyphosate. It was new to him. But he's like, for some reason, I can drink a bottle of your wine. I don't have a headache or a hangover. Yeah. Why is that? His whole line of wine, it's not as good.
Wow.
And so finding a specific vineyard that we did, I can't give away the name.
Yeah.
She has been basically chemical free since they've begun. And like I said, they're hidden. They're not on like a hill. Mm-hmm. These other vineyards.
Got it.
Certain mountains, they're protected. So they don't get the overspray. They have their own fresh water that they use. They do everything by hand, no machinery. It's old school, like as if you went to Europe and was on old family land. It's amazing.
That's great. Well, yeah. A question that came up too is, obviously there's the majority of wine is going this way, or not going your way, but, producing their crops this way. Why is my question. Obviously it's probably easier, but at the end of the day, why is it that so many of these companies and wineries and are having to use all these chemicals?
Well, I think it's with anything, it's just mass production. It really is. They are able to cut a lot of corners, and it's also appealing to the consumer base and staying exciting because, for example, harvest comes every October. It's whatever God gives us, or whatever you believe in. Yeah. And you produce from that, right? So someone, or a company somewhat like Gallo, unfortunately, they turned kind of evil, where evil's the wrong word, but they have chemical concoctions that they use to make sure that their flavor profile stays the same every single year. Whereas when you do something organically like we do, it changes all the time. So the red might taste a little different, the white might taste a little different, but it's because we're getting from what the earth has given us.
Got it.
And creating it into something that's not. So for the consumer appeal, think about all the wines when you go to Safeway or Costco.
Everywhere.
How do you decide? And so what they've started.
Look for what says Napa.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, is that people feel so crappy after they go to Napa.
Yeah.
It's like they have a day of recovery, in this stuff. But on the shelf, they're adding artificial dyes called mega purple. And that actually changes the hue of the wine so that it stands out on the shelf. It looks inviting and exciting to us, but it's an artificial dye. Got it. Other thing is they're changing flavor profile with sawdust and oak chips. So instead of being set in oak barrels to give it that oaky flavor, they're adding sawdust and oak chips to give it that.
Unbelievable.
I don't want to drink sawdust, oak chips, or mega purple. I just
Well, so now obviously there's some in
production.
Yeah, there's the mass production, the Gallows, and some of the other ones, and then there's the the popular what we would call higher end brands, a Silver Oak or an Opus One, and is there, from what you've seen, do you know if there's any difference between those, or it's kind of all in the same?
you're not going to like me right now.
It's not like I'm drinking a ton of it either.
I know, but you feel it. So this is
Yeah.
the thing. People, that's a fantastic question. It really comes down to how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
Feel really great after you drink a glass of wine, which you should, or you feel like crap and you have to recover, or you have to take the Advil or whatever the next day so you can work out.
Got it.
Or you get bloated, or you get swollen ankles, or you get the stuffy nose or the headache. It's like people know, they know their body, or they get, my sister-in-law actually gets head to toe rashes from store-bought wine. And she takes a bunch of antihistamines, crazy enough, to drink wine. It's
Wow.
a terrible plan.
Yeah.
Plan.
Absolutely.
A handful, about 10 different prescribed and non-prescribed antihistamines to have one glass of wine. I visited, I was shocked. She drank a bottle of my wine, not one reaction. Not one antihistamine did she use.
Wow.
A bottle. I watched her. I should have filmed it. She said, you can film me. I'm like, I don't know. I want to wait for see what happens. I'm like, I love you and all, but let me see what happens. A whole bottle, not one rash reaction. And again, she didn't take one antihistamine before she drank.
That's fantastic.
We're testing it. So yeah, it's basically, it's just like the food industry. You have to know the winemaker. You really have to ask questions, and people aren't asking questions.
Got it. You know, something else that came up is, you know, obviously I think a lot of people, I've heard people say, I'm allergic to alcohol. Would you say, based on that there's always a possibility, right? But would you say that there's more possibility that they're having an allergic reaction to everything else? You know, I'm allergic to wine. Well, maybe it's not actually the wine or, you know, or the alcohol. It's all these other things.
Absolutely. I mean, that's, again, a fantastic point. So something I wanted to bring up, and I knew that this would organically go as we've been talking about the topic come up, is sulfites. So sulfites are something that we're marketed to as the main cause for our headaches and hangover type feelings. But honestly, sulfites are naturally occurring in wine. You can't remove them. It's absolutely impossible. But what we don't do is add them in. So when you add sulfites in, the only reason why they would add higher amounts of sulfites is to maintain a shelf life.
Got it.
Just like the processed food industry, what are they adding in to maintain a shelf life that's not good for your body? But there's only about 1% of the population that have a sulfite allergy. Only 1%. So if you can eat potato chips, you don't have a sulfite allergy. Those are higher in sulfites than your glass of wine.
You got it.
Have to look to, yes, the other things. And no matter what, alcohol is going to affect us. Like I said, the gut health, liver health. But that's why we put things in there to basically override all that.
Got it. Got it. And so I think this is an important question. Does the alcohol, given everything else that you've put in there to help them, does that impact the feeling that they get from the alcohol? Meaning the day of or the time of? I mean, do they still get a little bit looser or the buzz, if you want to call it that?
Can I tell you that when I spoke at Idea World in front of all these really smart, fitness people, all different professions from all over the world. And the number one question I got after my speech was, so am I going to feel anything?
Well, there it is.
Like your wine sounds great, no, but can I come down after I put my kids to bed? Like, the reality is, feel the stuff.
Yeah.
And, it's true, you do, but it's in a different way. So let me explain.
Okay.
The red wine has 13% alcohol, and that's our Malbec. 13% is a standard table wine. Any restaurant you go to, 13%. Our white is 12 and our rosé is low at 11. You will still get the feeling like you do when you drink a normal glass, which is why I gave you the ABVs, or the alcohol volume.
Got it.
What you will not feel is the crappy way you would feel from drinking that, right? So it's not going to crash you. You're going to feel that really nice buzz. You feel really calm, feel really good, really clear. But it's not going to crash you. Then it won't crash you the next day. It's a beautiful buzz, I think people in the fitness world have experienced that when they just drink a cleaner beer or a hard cider that's just is cleaner. There's no gluten or whatever it is. They just feel better, but they get that, edge off.
Got it. And, a question that I want to ask because I'm curious and I've got you. And if you don't want to go there, I'm totally cool with that too. But I'm seeing now like organic alcohol made from
Mm.
spirulina and different things like that. And, I guess how does that differ? Do you know? I mean, this is more of a nutrition question than it is,
Hmm.
sorry, Smart Vine, but I'm curious to know.
Yeah, and I don't know.
Okay.
I have seen that because I'm in the nutrition world.
Yeah.
Go to, places like Natural Expo West, or these places where they have this extreme blow up of phenomenal expertise in getting things like alcohol out of spirulina and honey alcohol and all these different things. And I think the industry is just saying, hey, we are seeing that our consumers want to be healthier. How can we get creative here? And also vegan.
Yeah.
Right? Spirulina is vegan. Honey, unless I don't know if that's really vegan. Is honey vegan?
I'm a meat eater. Sorry,
ways,
folks.
Right? They do. They go both ways. So
Yeah.
I have to ask the customer or the client.
Yeah.
But it's a really great question. And I'm not sure where that industry is going to go and if it's going to hold.
Yeah.
Because wine's just been around for thousands of years.
No, absolutely.
It's just old tradition that's around every table for the holidays. These new things, I think they're going to take a little bit of time, and we'll see if they stick around, because right now it's all in a testing phase. We don't know if the market's going to like it. The production is all new for it. I think we'll have to wait and see.
Cool. So let's get into the details now. So what are the different types of wine you mentioned? Is it a Malbec, rosé, and what's the other one?
I have a white that's a Sauvignon Blanc, and then the rosé is a Grenache and Malbec.
Got it. And is that mainly due to it being in Santa Barbara, obviously, and, versus a Cabernet or, a Merlot or any of those others?
It's honestly whatever that vineyard produces. They've been around a long time, so they have multiple different varietals. But yes, I would have to expand to other vineyards that just do those type and make sure they are compliant, because we lab test everything. And we're the first wine that has a nutrition label on the actual bottle that we're coming out with. It's very important for us to be transparent and in integrity, and we will not be able to expand until those other vineyards are lab tested. So we have to do a whole nother round, which we're working on. But yes, every year might change a little bit. Like last year we had a beautiful red blend of Malbec and Grenache, and it tasted like a Pinot. I mean, people couldn't tell the difference. And this year we just had more Malbec in harvest.
Got it.
We just went to a full Malbec, which is beautiful. Yeah. But it tastes different than the Pinot. Right? Yeah. It's stronger.
Mm-hmm. Got it. You got it. Sweet. So, I guess, how do they get it? Obviously, it's not in stores, correct? Not
yet. We are in the talks with places like Whole Foods. We're very excited about what's coming for 2021.
Got it.
Some excitement for this year.
Yeah, exactly.
So retail will be very exciting. And then we have a couple of tasting rooms in the Santa Barbara area, which Jason, I can send to you after we speak, just so you,
and I'll put it in the links.
Addresses, they can go and taste and buy right there on site and possibly meet the winemaker. And so right now it's just online.
Got it. And I'll put the details in it, but it's smartvine.com, I believe.
Smartvine Wine.
Smartvinewine.com. And put that in
right.
there.
And when you go there, please note that we want to give your listeners value. We want you to try it. We have a 3-pack mix. That's one of each. I find that people say, oh, I'm a red lover, but they end up falling in love with our rosé too. Our wine tastes clean. It's really light, it's very clean, tastes different. So you'll be surprised and delighted to know. So we encourage you to get that. And we have a code, which I'll also give to Jason, which is buy 3, get 30, which means that you'll get $30 off your purchase of 3 bottles. So that's basically getting a free bottle of white wine. Just 30.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you.
Just because we want you to try it. We want your feedback. We're a new company. We want to grow with you. We want to understand what you like and don't like, and how you feel, right? That's all based on how you really feel after you drink it.
Thanks. Well, this has been great. What is there anything else that you want to get out that we may have missed, or anything that you want to add?
Gosh, that's a great question. I think that at an age, we need integrity and transparency. So if you love a certain brand of wine, which I'm not against any, I'm not going to throw any under the bus. I think that they're all well-intentioned on, how they're doing what they're doing. Mm-hmm. I would contact the winemaker. I'd say, don't be afraid to ask questions. Just like with your food, you have to care what goes in your body. Contact the manufacturer on the box of your cookies, the box of your, whatever it is, you have to make sure that, you know, what's on there is on there. In the wine industry, there's huge lobbying to keep the label just having like the family vineyard on there. Lots of money goes into keeping you from knowing what's in that bottle.
It's crazy.
If you're like Jason and I, and you care about what you put in your body, which I know you are, or you know you do, don't be afraid to ask the questions. And especially because you drink wine every day. I know you do. Every night.
I haven't. I turned to tequila since I moved away from the Bay Area.
Oh my gosh. Well, and when I did the Ironman competition, that was phenomenal. But I learned that they take a shot of wine right before they go on stage.
Oh,
I had
really?
no idea. And so, but they're drinking this wine to, you know, get their veins popping out.
Yeah.
I didn't know that there's all these tricks, but the point is that there's healthier option, and you can ask questions, and you can feel good the next day and get up and work out, take care of your family, and still have your wine. You really can.
That's awesome. Well, I can't thank you enough, man. This has, you know, been a short but sweet and information packed. And, you know, I hope everybody goes out. I mean, obviously we have a higher than average healthy listening base out there. So please take advantage of, you know, what Christine is offering to everybody. And, you know, I can't wait to get some myself. I know my wife will. And I can't thank you enough. And it's great to see you and see how you're thriving. So thank you so much.
Oh, thanks, Jason. Thanks for having me. This was a blast.
Absolutely. Well, good luck with everything.
Thanks. We'll talk soon. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.